Mama's in Control, episode 308. Do you budget during the holidays? Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. You know who I am. I'm Heather Chauvin, and I'm all about helping you feel in control of your life. And yes, if you haven't figured it out already, it has absolutely nothing to do with having a perfectly clean home or making sure that your children are perfectly behaved. Mom is in Control is all about helping you from feeling in control. Does that make sense? Mom is in Control, let me try this again, is about helping you feel in control from the inside out. It's about the perfectly imperfect life. It's messy, which is why there's never any editing here. I'm just me, real, raw, and honest. So in this episode, I want to talk about why I used to never budget during the gift-giving season, but why I do now, how financial budgeting will save you time and energy, and why making more money does not equal having more in the bank or more under the tree. So before we even start, I'm just going to put a little shameless plug in there. We have been raising a lot of money for the Canadian Mental Health Association that will directly affect children and teens. If you have been following me for a while, you know that I'm extremely passionate about mindfulness and self-awareness and teaching this to the next generation. So we're hosting a t-shirt campaign. It's called Take a Stand. You can, whether you are Canadian or American, we ship to Canada and the US. You can head on over to my website at heatherchauvin.com. We currently have 3 designs. One says more self-love. The other one, it says stronger than you think. And we also have one that says take a stand. So very modern, fashionable t-shirts, a lot of black and white, so gender neutral for children, teens, men, and women, humans of all kinds. So if you want to give a gift this season, or you want to send a gift this season with meaning that has a mission behind it, it would be greatly appreciated if you head on over to heatherchauvin.com and check out those t-shirts. 100% of the proceeds, so I am not making a dime off of this, 100% of the profits are going directly to the programs that are going to teach children and teens the power of their mind. So this is just a small drop in the bucket to the bigger message and the bigger mission, which is helping people feel in control of their emotional and physical and mental health. All right, so let's move on. So gift giving. It's the holiday season. We love to give gifts, but we also need to realize that, the second Halloween is over, all of a sudden the Christmas music starts, and here we are buying gifts for children and our peers and friends and colleagues and family and swiping the credit cards thinking, what the heck? And then when the invoices come in, a month, 2 months from now, if you open them, you're like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? Ladies and gentlemen, we need to get back to our why. We need to get back to the meaning of the holiday, which is connection, which is love, which is joy, which is gratitude. And we have become so far removed from the message that it is now socially acceptable to be chronically overwhelmed during this season. But I am here to shift that. I am here to shake things up and to say, you do not need to be living this way. So what are you going to do about it? This is the first year that my family and I have said no to it all. And we're leaving on a jet plane. And we're like, kids, you are getting an experience this year. And that's what we've decided to do. Because we're doing a renovation this year, we're actually living with my mother. We'll be moving back into our house in a few months. Don't know when that's happening. But we don't even have a tree this year. Our tree's in storage, and my mom has this little rickety looking one that she got from a craft show or something. And I don't have this sadness. My children don't have this sadness of like, oh, holidays and, Santa will be coming. But I've just wanted to infuse experience and infuse memories into this holiday season. And I think, I'm not saying no presents, but what I'm saying is your presence, right? Being calm, cool, collected, focused, present with your children, with your family is all they want. We never look back on our deathbeds and think, I wish I gave more gifts. I wish I stressed over sending more holiday cards. What we truly desire is connection and being with those people that we care about. So how can we make that happen? Back in the day, I remember my first Christmas as a mother. I was on welfare. I was a single parent living in my mother's basement, and I spent hundreds of dollars on my son that I did not have. And he was born in January, so he was almost a year old. And if you've ever given a gift to a baby, you know that they enjoy the box more than the toy. And the experience is actually more for you than it is for them. So he woke up, on Christmas morning having no idea what's going on. And all of these gifts. And, I'm just sitting there opening them with him and then, taking the pictures with all these gifts around him, putting them in the middle of it. I'm like, wow, this is a perfect Pinterest moment, even though Pinterest wasn't even invented back then. Or if it was, I didn't know about it. And what was left was, like this high that I got from like, oh, look, all of these gifts under the tree. But really, in hindsight, right? Because hindsight is always 20/20. Looking back, I was trying to overcompensate from all of these holes that I felt were inside of me of like, I am not good enough as a mother. I am not good enough for my son. He doesn't have a father. We don't even have our own home. And here I am trying to just give to show him my love. And this child doesn't even freaking know, right? I was trying to pour my love into these gifts because I felt guilty, because I felt like I wasn't enough. And he just cared about the freaking boxes. And I didn't realize that for a long time. I was like, well, if I buy more, it's like this dopamine hit you get, right? I mean, you see it in these advertisements. Buy this, buy bigger. Sometimes I was in the mall. I think I told this story a few podcasts ago, but I was in the mall and I bought something and they're like, would you like to upsell? And I was like, okay, fine, because I'm stuck in the Christmas season. And then after I felt really gross about it. I'm like, I just totally got ripped off for this upsell. And so in this season, removing myself from all of this, I think half the chaos is just the overwhelm of consumerism. So I'm trying to be really, really conscious of that, of why do I think I need to buy more? Why do I think I need to give more? Am I doing this from a place of lack, that like I am not enough? Or am I doing this from a place because I truly, authentically want to gift this? So this year, actually last month what we did, we do have a budget this year. So we made a list of everybody that we needed to buy for, and yes, we're going on this experience with our children, and we do have a monetary budget of what we want to gift the kids on Christmas morning from Santa. I won't say his name out loud, but it's less. It's usually less than what we've typically done, but it's higher quality, right? Like giving to that actual child, like what they truly want, not what's on sale and saying, okay, I spent this much on you, I need to spend this much on you. So really being more, emotionally attached to that and being like, I'm really noticing that you love this and therefore I want to give this to you, or this is what we're going to be doing together. So we do have a budget. So we've created all the people that we have to gift to, let me rephrase that, all the people we want to gift to this holiday season, and put a monetary value next to it and then added that up. And what we've done is we've actually taken that cash out, that physical cash, and put it in an envelope. And we're using that physical cash when we go shopping. We did this last month with all of our bills, and the beauty of it is, these are strategies, that I've learned over the years. But when things were really, really tight financially for us, what's his name? Dave Ramsey always talks about, if you ever listen to Dave Ramsey, he's like the money guy. There's lots of money people, but he has a podcast as well. He always says cash is king. So if you've ever used the envelope system, I mean, that's kind of where it came from. But one of the things that I learned, you have so much shame around it when you don't have enough, right? When you're like, oh, we're financially tight, therefore we have to burn all of our credit cards and yada, yada, and just live off of cash. But we did this last month. It was more of like a challenge than not, because what happens is the more money you make, the more you'll spend if you don't have a budget. So now that we're budgeting, the interesting part is when we decided last month, we're not using debit, we're not using credit. We're going to put all of our cash for everything, for food, for gas, for gifts, for all of that extra crap in envelopes and spend that way. It was such a great lesson in strengthening our marriage and communication. Honey, where are you going? Do you need this? Does the car need some gas? When are we grocery shopping? Did you bring the grocery money? And so we had to communicate with each other. When you're driving down the street and you impulsively like, oh, I'm hungry because I didn't meal plan, and you want to go through a drive-through, or, oh, I just need another coffee because, I'm having 20 coffees a day, you have to stop and you have to think. And this is how we change our human patterns, our human behaviors. And I love, if you guys haven't figured this out yet, I love challenging myself constantly. So just because you have more doesn't mean you need to spend more. Oftentimes I'll hear women too who are very ambitious and go-getters and have achieved a lot. I feel guilty for all the abundance in my life. Therefore, I want to get rid of some of it. And it's not giving and gifting from a place of more, from a place of gratitude. It's here, I don't want this because I feel uncomfortable having this much. We need to sit with our abundance and just know that energy is exactly what the world needs from us. It's not the monetary value that the world needs from us. And yes, money is great. Yes, go fill up the food banks, go give, go do all of that. But I want you to pay attention to your why first. Why are you doing that? Know the why behind your gifting. Know the why behind your giving. And pay attention to why you're doing it. So let me quickly talk about how financially budgeting saves you time and energy. I often talk about energy leaks. Energy leaks are those places in our lives where we just feel like we're draining, right? Where things are just, or we're giving too much of our time. Financially budgeting is just an energetic boundary. So have you ever heard me talk about the $1 million minute? Budgeting our time. If every minute of your life was worth $1 million, would you spend it differently? Would you give someone 60 minutes of your time when they're just sitting there complaining the whole time? Or would you give them 5 minutes? Or would you cut them off completely and say, you got this. You're always complaining. Are you just dumping on me? Or do you want to talk about how you can change your life? Are you energetically creating a boundary there? So oftentimes I find with women, especially ambitious go-getters, is you want to give, and you end up giving your time and you're on all these boards and you're volunteering all this time, but you're becoming angry and resentful. And so sometimes you're giving monetarily the same way. So when you have that energetic boundary, when you're using a budget, a time budget, a financial budget, an energetic budget, you're conserving more energy, you're conserving more time. And I always say when you're giving back to yourself, then you become full, and then you're giving from this place of abundance. You're giving from this place of you're overflowing rather than depletion, rather than feeling like you're constantly filling up a cup and you have no idea where it's going. And then that's when you guys send me the frantic emails saying, Heather, I make 6 figures, I make multi-6 figures, and I have no freaking clue where our money goes. Because if you're not paying attention to it, you're just going to swipe that credit card and then at the end of the month go, oh my God, this is huge. Where did this come from? And I used to fall into the same trap as well. You don't need to go into a financial credit card debt over the holiday season. I remember one client of mine, money was super, 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 super tight, and they had a wedding to go to. And she said, Heather, we have like $12 left to our name. I said, girl, it is time to rise. And for those $12, they bought wood. Actually, it was like wood that they had left over. They bought some beautiful stain, and her husband made this amazing bench for his friend for their wedding. And that bench would have easily cost them $500 to $1,000 if they would have purchased it from someone else. Just knowing that, can of stain and the leftover wood that they had and all of the elbow grease and the love that they put into making this, that is called giving with a passion. So sometimes we have to be in uncomfortable positions before, we create that change within ourselves. We have a lot to give. We just need to rearrange our energy and focus our energy and attention on what matters to me. Where do I want to be? How do I want to feel? How can I give in alignment with how I want to feel? How can I give with intention? How can I give with purpose? Have you ever received a Christmas card or a holiday card and you can tell it's like, it's not personalized. The person just signed their name on it. Or maybe they didn't. It's just printed copies and there's no personal note there. You can feel the energy behind it. I would much rather be intentional about my giving than not give at all. We don't need to overwhelm ourselves with the extra shit if we're not going to make the time to do it in alignment with how we want to feel. It's okay to say no and to reassess and say, okay, next year I'm going to do this. And I kind of talked about why making more doesn't equal having more in the bank or more under the tree. So this holiday season, I just want you to be intentional. If it's in alignment with you, be intentional. Do you budget during the holidays? What's your relationship with budgeting? Does money terrify you? It doesn't have to. And in January, in my mastery program, money is the theme. We're talking about budgeting. We're talking about how to be profitable in your business, how to be profitable in your own bank accounts, your own personal bank accounts, how to decrease debt. I feel like money and time and energy and parenting is very much connected. So just be mindful of that. And if you found this helpful at all, please share. Know that you're not alone. Share with a friend. Screenshot it. Tag me on Instagram at @mamasincontrol. I would love, love, love to know, what did you take away from this podcast? What are you taking away from other podcasts? And if you're not sure where to get started on how to start creating a budget, a quick Google search would be great. How to create a budget. Look at some spreadsheets. There'll be PDFs. One of my biggest game changers that I do, which made me want to vomit and puke when I first started, and that's okay. That just means you're getting outside your comfort zone, is I went through my credit card statements, mine and my husband's, and he didn't want to go at it at, this intensity that I did. So I took back control of our finances and I did it. And I went through our finances. I went through our bank accounts line by line by line and got clear on where our money was going. And when you do this, then you can give yourself pocket of time and understand, where are these energy leaks? Where are these financial leaks? Where are these time leaks? Am I burning myself out in my work because I just feel like I need to work more to make more money? Or can we start to patch some of those holes so that you can get a good night's sleep? Just think about it. So what is your financial budget? Whether that's time, money, and energy. And how are you going to seal those leaks and make it a more memorable year with less stress and more ease? All right, ladies, talk soon. You got this.